This is Michael Gerace with Clearview Sewer Cams. We're located at 6647 Orion Avenue, Van Nuys, California, zip code 91406, and it is January 27th, 2021. We're performing a video sewer inspection through the 4-inch ABS plastic cleanout right outside the kitchen window area, and it's back behind the bushes. You can see it in the ground right here. Kind of hard to even get to. Cleanout's right there, and this is the driveway area going out toward the front gate. And like I said, we're right outside the kitchen window area. You can actually see the kitchen faucet in the window. So we're going to begin running through. We're going to zero out our camera monitor right now, right at our cleanout, and we're going to begin running through. We've got water running in the guest house, and the guest house pumps into this line apparently, and we do have vitreous clay. We transition immediately to vitreous clay. And off our camera lens, we're kind of hanging here a little bit. And we've got some root intrusion in this joint. Got considerable root intrusion on both sides of the joint. It's quite a bit of roots. And we have a very large offset at the next joint. You can see it transitions to ABS. You can see the full face of the ABS plastic on top. So it shifted quite a bit. Well, actually dropping into the ABS, you can see on the side where it shifted, and there's a big gap separation too, and we're dropping down into the ABS plastic. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition. Now we're making a turn. Looks like we have another offset there. You can see the face of the pipe right there, quite a bit of it. So there's another shift right in front of the clean out area. We're not too far out. Try and get past this area. Okay. Now we're pushing out. Pause for a moment. We're going to continue pushing out. A little bit of gap in that pipe, and I can't see the entire joint. Doesn't look terrible at this point. We've got some more water running, coming from the guest house. It should reach us pretty soon. I could hear it actually pump. There it is. Rinse our camera lens off right here for a moment. We're just going to sit here and wait till it dissipates. It's just one big burst of water, and then it should calm down. Now we're running out toward the clean out that is to the right of the front fence, front gate. As you're entering the driveway from the street, it's on your right hand side, and it is an ABS plastic clean out that is raised up above ground. So far we're holding water. I'm going to pause for a moment, just see if this drops down. Right now it's churning, so there has to be a restriction ahead of us or a flat spot in the line, and I believe it's probably a restriction. To my knowledge, there's quite a bit of roots in the line. Okay, now we've dropped down. I'm going to wait for another minute. Try and let it settle some more if we can. And it does look like it's draining out. We're going to pause for a moment. We're going to shut that water off in the guest house. Okay, so we're going to begin running through some more. We do have a little tiny bit of water in the bottom of this pipe that's standing, so it's kind of flat. You can see there's a lot of debris at the bottom of the piping. And we've got a pretty good sized belly right here. Make another turn. And making another turn. Get through all these turns. And there is an offset in that next joint I can see, and our camera's going to be trying to turn around that corner, and it's going to be hitting that offset. I'm going to see if I can jam it through. Okay, we got through a little bit. Coming up on another joint that appears to have a very large root intrusion. And having a very difficult time trying to push out. Right now we're only out 30 feet. We're going to locate this area, so we're going to pause for a moment. How deep? How deep?
3 foot 3 inches.
We've located and marked this area at 3 foot 3 inches deep. And there's numerous turns in this line, very difficult to try and push out. We have a major offset in this joint and a major root intrusion, as you can see. We're about 80% restricted. Don't know if we can get a hydro jetter through this line. We are going to try, but very difficult to try and push out. We're going to try it. We're going to see if we can get through here. We may have to run some water. Oh, we got through that area. Another root intrusion right in front of us.
We'll try to push out as far as we can first.
Yeah. We're going to try and push out as far as we can. We have several root intrusions. We're going to try and get out as far as we can, and then we'll go ahead and pull back slowly and take a look at the line. But we can see almost every joint has root intrusion. Okay, so pause for just a moment. We're going to try and keep pushing out. We're going to try and get all the way out to the clean out in the front. I'm going to run some water for a moment. See if it'll help us push out. I'm going to pause for a moment.
Okay, we went ahead and located this area, and we pushed all the way out as far as we could. We pushed all the way out to another cleanout that's just to the right of the driveway. Next to the trash cans, there's another 4-inch ABS cleanout in the dirt area there. And we did push out to that point. And again, it's very difficult to push out. We do have quite a bit of root intrusions. We have some offsets. And so what we're going to do is we're going to pull back from here. We're going to relocate ourselves to that 4-inch cleanout up at the front. And we'll attempt to push all the way out into our city sewer tie-in from there. So again, we're just going to go ahead and pull back. And again, it does appear that we transitioned to a short section of cast iron in that area. So we're just going to go ahead and continue to pull back. As we pull back, you can see that these joints are root intruded. Again, we're just going to go ahead and continue to pull back. We got more roots in that joint as well. And again, in that joint as well. And we got roots in that joint as well.
Yeah, I'll try and find out tonight. I'm going to try and put all this together tonight for you when I get in.
We have more roots in that joint there as well. What we're going to do is we're going to pause here for a moment. We're going to shut the water down for a moment.
Okay, we're going to continue pulling back, and we're in the sewer line from the kitchen area to the 4-inch ABS plastic mainline cleanout that is to the right of the gate. continue pulling back. And there's root intrusion in this joint. And looks like there's a crack, possibly a break off to the right hand side by the 3 o'clock area. Or at least just a crack. I don't think it's a break. But we do have root intrusion in that joint. Minor root intrusion in the next joint. A little heavier root intrusion in this joint, but still, again, not terrible. We're holding some water back a little tiny bit here. A little flat. Minor root intrusion in that joint. Here we've got, looks like we might have a break. Try and get in here a little bit more. Yeah, we've got a crack. It appears off to that right hand side from about the 1 o'clock area to about the 5 o'clock area. And it looks like it may be cracking from the 9 o'clock area a little bit too, and going around. Back. Got some root intrusion in that joint, and look like a little bit of cracking possibly in the face of that piping. Could be a little bit of a break right there. Can't tell unless it's cleaned out real well. I don't know that we're going to be able to hydrojet this area with all the turns in it. That jetter hose may not go all the way through here. We're going to try. We got some root intrusion here. May need another clean out further out toward the driveway area. Minor root intrusion in this joint from what we can see. A little bit more root intrusion in that joint. And very heavy root intrusion in this joint. Pretty heavy root intrusion in the next joint. We're going to try and locate this area. Going to pause for a moment. Okay, we marked this area at approximately 3 foot 5 inches deep. It is in the gravel area on the left hand side of the driveway coming back toward the kitchen. That was probably a clean out, more than likely that's buried. It's a clay fitting, and we have another root intrusion, and we have that area marked with an orange flag as well. Pulling back, we have a very large root intrusion right here. We're going to pause and mark this area. Okay, we marked this area with an orange flag, and that's restricted about 80%. Coming back now, we're making a turn. And we're transitioning back to ABS plastic, and we're in a turn. We've got a transition coming across into that line. It's got some buildup on the walls of the pipe. We're in ABS plastic, and we're kind of flat right here because we're holding back water. And we transition back to vitreous clay where we have the large offset that is right in front of us. We have some more minor root intrusions. Now we're up and out of our mainline cleanout, but we also have a pretty large offset right here, right at the cleanout. Wasn't really put in properly and evenly, wasn't flush. Pulling up and out of our mainline sewer cleanout.
You want to call that?
I'll pause for a moment. Okay, we're at the front 4-inch ABS plastic cleanout now. This is our gate, the entrance to the property. We're just to the right of the gate as you're facing the house as you're coming in the driveway area, and this is going back toward the house and going back toward the guest house up the driveway. I'm going to zero out our camera monitor right here. Begin running through. Okay, going to insert the camera in the 4-inch ABS plastic clean out. I believe we transition to cast iron right here. We do. We transition to cast iron. We have a try and wipe our camera lens off again. That cast iron, I don't know if it goes back to ABS though. We'll see here in a moment. Okay, insert our camera again. Again, we transition. Looks to ABS plastic again. We've just got a cast iron fitting at the bottom. We're in ABS plastic, and now we transition to vitreous clay again, which is right outside. We're going to pause and locate this area. Okay, we marked this area just inside the retaining wall, the brick retaining wall at the front of the property at 4 foot 4 inches deep. And this is the vitreous clay, or ABS plastic to vitreous clay transition, and there's a pretty good offset in that area. And then we have a major root intrusion and a break. You can see where the clay is broken right here, and that's just in front of it. We're going to pause again and just locate this area and mark it. Okay, we located this area just inside the brick retaining wall at 5 foot 1 inches deep. We marked the area with an orange flag. We're going to try and see if we can push through. We were able to get out. We've got to rinse our camera lens off, and then we have a section of ABS plastic, and then we go back to vitreous clay. We're going to keep pushing now. We have some more root intrusion. Push out to the city sewer, rinse our camera lens, hopefully, and then more root intrusions there. Rinse our camera lens so we can see on the way back. And this area is our vitreous clay city lateral saddle area, which we have major offset, major root intrusion, a major offset, major shift, and separation as well. We're going to locate this area in the street and mark this area out. So we're going to pause again. Okay, we marked this area in the street at 7 foot 4 inches deep, right at the city sewer tie-in connection, and have major root intrusion here, major offset and shift at the saddle. That saddle will have to be repaired. Pulling back slowly. That joint doesn't appear to be in too bad a condition there. The joint looks like it's separated a little bit at the bottom, but not terrible. Doesn't look too bad a shape. So far it's just the saddle pretty much. And we do have a crack in that joint. You can see the face of the pipe, and then about an inch back you can see when we go in slowly there's a crack going all the way around the face of that fitting, probably what I can see maybe about the 3 o'clock area to about the 9 o'clock area. You can see it on the left. See where that crack starts, goes all the way around, and it's broken. You can see it's pretty broken over by the 7 o'clock area. That's coming apart, so that area is going to have to be fixed as well, or lined possibly. And keep pulling back, nice and slow. Some root intrusion off to the right. Making a little bit of a turn. Have a little bit of root intrusion off to the right at about the 5 o'clock area. Coming back toward the property. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition at this time. Hit something kind of hard coming back. That's the root intrusion. We have large root intrusion in this area and an offset as well. So we're going to pause for a moment. We're going to locate and mark this area out. Okay, we've located this area and marked this area out with red crayon on the sidewalk area at 5 foot 10 inches deep. That's a pretty large root intrusion. More than likely, when that's hydrojet, you probably see there might be a break right there where that big nest is, and those are some pretty large feeder roots. And you can see it's offset at the top. Next joint appeared to be in pretty fair condition. Pulling back. This is our ABS plastic section of piping that was installed. I'm sure there was a repair done. This was probably not original from what we can see, and those joints appear to be in fair and maintainable condition. That joint appears to be in fair and maintainable condition, as does that joint, and that's our clean out as well. They put a clean out in. There's a clean out outside the brick wall with a brass plug. And right at that joint where they made the repair, you have major root intrusion. There's a very large root intrusion there, and it looks to be offset quite a bit. So it shifted quite a bit. It probably wasn't put together with the proper type of band. It was probably put together with a Fernco band, which has a lot of play. So that area will also need to be excavated and repaired. And it looks to me that that's the 4-inch to 6-inch lateral connection. That's right there. And we marked that area out with an orange flag. Pulling back, and this is where we have some extremely heavy root intrusion. As I said, we're probably at about 80% restricted and broken. And we mark these areas out. This is transitioning back to ABS plastic from the vitreous clay and coming back toward our mainline clean out, and then we transition again for just a moment to cast iron right here, cast iron fitting, and then again to ABS plastic. Somebody may not have had the proper ABS plastic fitting and they just used whatever they had and they threw in a cast iron fitting at the time. So that will conclude our video sewer inspection of these two clean outs. Now we're going to transition. We're going to move to the left hand side of the house. As you're facing the house, it would be the south side of the house, to a 3-inch ABS plastic clean out. We're going to attempt to run through there. So we're going to pause again for a moment. Okay, we are on the side of the house. Now we're on the right hand side of the house. And we are at a 3.5-inch ABS plastic mainline clean out. This is the side of the house going toward the front yard area. And this is going toward the backyard area by the pool. We're going to zero out our camera monitor and begin running through the ABS plastic mainline clean out right here. Insert our camera. Begin running through. I believe this ABS plastic line runs all the way across the house and then ties into the main sewer line out by the gravel area adjacent to the driveway. Another turn. I have to push kind of fast. Then we transition. This is ABS plastic waste line. Now transitioning to cast iron waste line. There's some more turns. And then back to ABS plastic. Then back to cast iron. We're going to push as fast as we can. Try and get all the way out, and then we'll pull back slow. And then we transition to vitreous clay. We're going to stop and we're going to locate this area. Okay, we've located this area underneath the back deck, and we do have some root intrusion in this joint coming up. Have a little more root intrusion in here as well. The roots growing all the way down the pipe. We've got some more root intrusion in the next joint. Root intrusion here. Root intrusion in that joint. Got a belly right here holding water. You can see some broken pieces of clay at the bottom of that line. Kind of hard to see going through the water, but I could see some orange pieces for a moment. But we are in a belly. We have some more very large root intrusion here. I'll pause for a minute and we're going to try and locate this area. Okay, we located the clay pipe where we have this large belly. We're up underneath the back bedroom behind the laundry. We're going to try and push through as far as we can. And now we're in ABS. And we transition again back to clay. But unfortunately, very difficult. We're going to go locate this area. Can't get a jetter through here, there's too many turns. I'm going to pause for a moment. Okay, we located this area and we're underneath the kitchen area. So we have clay running all the way underneath the house, underneath that back bedroom area by the laundry, and then also running out and coming outside the kitchen area by the kitchen window by the sink. And we have root intrusion underneath the house. And hard time trying to push out. Now we transition to ABS plastic. And now we're outside the house at the mainline sewer cleanout. So we're going to begin pulling back now. Transition back to the vitreous clay. So we're running right now east to west up underneath the kitchen area with the ABS plastic. Then it'll transition to vitreous clay right here. We have major root intrusion right here, which is underneath the kitchen area. Before the laundry as you're heading west, heading toward the back of the house. Then we're going to make a turn, have root intrusion, what may be an offset, it's hard to see. And we have a little bit of ABS plastic. We have some fittings in there for the bathroom and the laundry. And then we make a turn, make a 90-degree turn, and we have a lot of root intrusion up underneath. This is coming back into that back bedroom area. A lot of heavily root intruded clay joints. Another very heavily root intruded clay joint. Now we're coming back to the back porch. We have major belly in here holding water. The line goes underneath the house on this left-hand side, on the south side of the house, and then cuts out of the house and goes through the patio area. back into cast iron, back up underneath the house. At one time, the vitreous clay was probably outside the house, but then they built the deck and they built that back bedroom over it. Pulling back through the cast iron. And then we're going to transition back to ABS plastic. Coming back toward the mainline clean out, or the waistline clean out, excuse me, on the left-hand side of the house. Pulling back toward the clean out, and now pulling up and out of our clean out area. Now we'll conclude our video waistline inspection. Should be all waistline, but we do have vitreous clay under a good part of the decking, underneath the back bedroom area, and also underneath the kitchen. That will conclude our inspection.